For the past 7 weeks, I've had my placement at a service that provides rehabilitation through wheelchair provision. Clients are referred to this site for wheelchair provision, modifications, repairs and reviews. One of my clients, CW, has been coming to this service for over 6 months. CW is a 54-year-old male who had a right parietal MCA infarct. His left upper limb has limited sensation and limited movement. However, he is able to independently transfer with the use of a cane and has a very supportive wife. He is able to complete a large majority of activities of daily living. He is able to get into the car and get out of the car, but needs help accessing his community. A new referral came through for CW when he wanted to make his lone power wheelchair a permanent one. As an occupational therapist in this placement, it was my responsibility to ensure that CW was prescribed with the right wheelchair. I had to ensure that the chair would be suitable to access his needs, which included indoor and outdoor settings. Over 7 weeks, I had to review CW's needs and wants through the Canadian Occupational Performance Measure. I had to assess the lone wheelchair, I had to review his wheelchair skills, I had to prescribe and script a power wheelchair, and then I had to review this permanent wheelchair and finally hand over final notes. Through the use of COPM and using occupational therapy skills and interviews, I was able to see that CW wanted his wheelchair to be able to access the community. In the past, CW worked as an electrician. He also liked to socialise on Sunday afternoons and would like to play golf. Currently, his main aim is to be able to access the community, go to the shops, buy food and groceries for cooking a meal with his wife. He would also like to return to golf in the future. I used the model of human occupation throughout this 7 weeks. This model helps provide a framework for systematically thinking about habituation, volition, performance capacity, and the environment and how it can contribute to one's occupational performance and the impact it can have on their roles. I feel as though this was very important when prescribing power wheelchairs. I use the model of human occupation, or the MOHO, with CW as it provides a framework for systematically thinking about the individual and their environment and how it can impact on one's occupational performance, especially in one's wheelchair. The main reason as to why I chose the MOHO was because it addresses volition and personal causation, which has a profound effect on one's occupational performance in their wheelchair. Once a client chooses their goal, the use of volition can help an occupational therapist determine what adaptations and needs can be addressed to the wheelchair. This also helps to allow a client to participate in their desired occupations and goals. After completing a COPM, I was able to see that CW's main goal was to be able to access the community with ease and independence. At the core of the MOHO lies volition. Volition and one's thoughts and feelings about their ability and willingness to participate in an occupation. CW's personal causation, and thus his sense of capacity and efficacy, has a profound effect on his occupational performance. His motivation and willingness to participate allowed me to understand how important it is for him to function independently. Together, and thus through the use of client-centered practice, I was able to prescribe a wheelchair that was suited CW's needs and adapt it in ways that will increase his independence. This included adaptations such as a pullover tray, water bottle holder, travel straps for taxi transport, Velcro strapping to his tray to hold his mobile phone in place, a chair that can tilt and recline, a chair with the ability to be controlled by his partner if necessary, a chair that has the ability to travel the distances CW would like, a chair suitable to the environment CW is motivated to go to, and a chair that CW is actually happy with. The MOHO conceptualizes environment as an interrelated and interdependent dimension. The environment is therefore the physical and social dimension surrounding a person and how it affects one's interactions within it. This was a very important factor of prescribing a wheelchair. The environmental factors affected which wheelchair I chose for CW. I had to consider the home environment, so things such as door sizes, doorknobs in hallways, kitchen and bathroom space, carpet, tiles, turning radius in hallways, and getting in and out of cars. I then had to think of the outdoor environment, which meant social dimensions affected my decision making. So things like pathways to the shop, distance to the shops, slopes, inclines, access into the shopping centre, doorways and gates at the centre, staff knowledge of wheelchair and the client, and the effect of the weather conditions. All of these factors led to assistance and reasoning behind the chair that was chosen, which included things like chair size and type, speed, tyre choice, water protection level, height, and distance the chair can travel. The MOHO also looks at how the status of bodily systems such as neurological and musculoskeletal systems can impact on one's ability to use the chair. As CW had a right-sided stroke, this affected which side to place adaptations, so I had to think of things like where to put the controller, where to put his side tray, leg rest type, leg rest height, where to place the headrest, the side he can access his phone from, and other things such as suitable cushioning and this consideration allowed to help CW access his needs. In my permanent wheelchair prescription, a cushion was provided for CW's needs. The cushion that was chosen was 2 layers of foam at 100 millimeters high. However, after about a week, CW rang me to complain that he was experiencing pain after sitting down for periods of longer than 2 hours. He told me that he had left the shopping centre because he was in pain and needed to go home. This was an immediate problem I needed to address, as the cushion or the seating system was affecting his abilities to perform in occupational roles. In order to address this issue, I used the MOHO's component of performance capacity. This is the ability to perform an act based on the status of one's mental and physical capabilities, which also includes neurological and physiological systems. I decided that the first step of this cushion review would to be looking at the cushion and seeing whether or not it had bottomed out. The cushion hadn't lost any resilience, and therefore I had decided it may be best to change the type of cushion. I remained client-centered by asking CW what kind of cushions he had used before. He had tried an air cushion before and didn't like it. I therefore suggested maybe trying a gel cushion. However, before I did that, I mentioned to him that I was still new to everything and I would like to have a look at using a pressure mapping system. The pressure mapping system was able to help me observe his seating in a much more in-depth way. Upon normal clinical observation, to me it looked as though he was sitting fine. However, by using the pressure mapping system, I was able to see that the ischial tuberosities were experiencing a lot of pressure. Also, I was able to see that the bottom of his thighs were not contacting on the cushion properly. This made me think, what could be changed? In this appointment, I elevated and depressed the leg rests and wanted to see the difference on the pressure mapping system. There was a huge difference. At present, the leg rests were elevated and his ischial tuberosities were experiencing more pressure as the bottom of his thigh was not touching the cushion. When the leg rests were depressed, the ischial tuberosity pressure went down and the bottom of his thighs was touching the cushion better. At this point, I decided we would decrease the leg rests, which was done. CW said that immediately he felt better.